Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Trial Stories. This is the podcast of F&A Injury Lawyers, New York City personal injury attorneys. And today we're joined by Arleen Polishchuk and Julia S., a paralegal at the firm. And Arleen is an attorney at the firm. So how are you guys? How are you doing?
Good. Doing great. Good to be here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I'd like to start it off. What's one piece of advice you'd give someone starting out in their career?
Okay, so what's one piece of advice you would give someone who's starting out in our field? Our field is personal injury. We help serious injury victims and their families. So what's one piece of advice I would give someone who's starting out? Probably I would say just to be patient and to see if this is a fit for you, meaning see if this is your passion, if you really like helping serious injury victims and their families. Some people enjoy it. They enjoy this job. Like I have a passion for it. I just kind of found my calling. This is what I like. It energizes me. Some people might say, you know what, I'm better off doing something else like real estate or immigration or criminal defense, right? So I think that's very important, both for the client, the person you're serving, as well as for yourself. So that's what I would say, because if you're not in it, if your heart isn't in it, then it's just not going to be enjoyable for you as a practitioner, right? In a personal injury law firm, whether you're a receptionist, a file clerk, an attorney, whatever your role is, if you don't like the job, it's just not going to be. And then of course, it's not going to translate well for the client either. So that's really important. What do you think, Julia? Julia is actually in Arizona, right?
Yes.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, because we're both in New York. I'm in Brooklyn. Arleen is in, where are you, Arleen? You're in Brooklyn as well. Our office is in Brooklyn, but Julia is a paralegal, and she used to be here in Brooklyn. We used to see her, what people say IRL, in real life, but now she's not IRL. Well, she's IRL. She's not in real life here now in Brooklyn. She's in Arizona. That's so cool. How's the weather out there?
It's actually quite amazing. We had snow, and then the next day it got so warm that I walked out in a t-shirt. So it's an interesting change back and forth because we kind of live in the mountains over here.
That's so cool. Wow. Snow. And then you can go out in a t-shirt. I remember one day I was in Utah and I was skiing and then afterwards that was all up in the mountains. And then we got done and we went down into the valley. And then I was also like in a t-shirt and it was like 60 degrees. I was like, how was I just skiing? And it was so cold. And it was just like a 10-minute drive. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
So what do you think about this issue about a piece of advice you'd give someone who's starting out in personal injury?
Me as a paralegal, mostly I'm on the phone with the clients or I'm doing paperwork. So to get really familiar with medical records, how they work, it's very important to establish a good rapport with the client and make sure that they know that they can reach out at any point, always ask a question, follow up. And I guess the most important advice is to simply, because some jobs, they may not involve another human being that's been injured. It's very important to be compassionate and to understand it's not just a number on the page. It's a human being, they need help, they were injured. And it's your basically job to take care of them.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Yeah, we have to have empathy. We have to like put ourselves in the shoes of the client and see what life is like in their shoes and have like empathy for them. That's so important to do a good job for them. No, I think that's vital. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a really good point. I mean, just to piggyback off your, Katie, I completely agree. Like I knew right away that plaintiff's personal injury was my passion. I think that's very important for someone starting out in this field. You have to have the passion or you're not going to succeed. You have to believe in what you're doing. Also, I believe that for someone starting out, you need to understand that you're not going to know everything right away. It'll take time, but you have to put in the work, you have to put in the patience, and you will get there as long as you have the passion for it. That's what I think.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And okay, what's the second question for today? Who wants to read the second question?
Who has been your most important professional mentor? So for me, it's the three attorneys that I worked under. including Arleen. It was just, it's important to have somebody to mentor you who really knows what they're doing, because they can lead you. There's so many things you need to learn in this field, and sometimes things change also. So yeah, my attorneys, I would say.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. And how does that make you feel, Arleen, that she picked you as the professional mentor?
I feel honored because Julie is brilliant. She's fast. She's just absolutely the best. Clients love her. I love her. And I appreciate her patience most of all.
Oh, that's awesome. How do you guys work together? Like, talk about that a little bit. Like when you're working on a case, you guys are a team, right? And how do you work together?
Sure. So, I mean, really, I would say communication is probably the most important part of our teamwork. It's our jobs are just so difficult. You never know what you're going to get, right? So we're both always ready to take on a challenge together. Whether it's jumping on a quick call to discuss something, or chatting, or we talk all day long about all the issues that come up throughout the day.
Definitely, communication is key.
Right? Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, communication is very important, because like they say, like sometimes there's like little details and you have to do those details. And if those details are done right, then it leads to the whole case being done right. And if you miss a detail, then it could, because you never know what a jury or a juror is going to think, right? And if you're on trial and then you don't have that one detail, that might be the missing link that, hurts the case ultimately. So it's important to be very detail oriented and have good communication. So everything's done seamlessly. That's really important.
I do think we work seamlessly, because I think a very good attribute that we both have is that we're very detail oriented and very thorough. I think that's also why we work very well together. Sometimes we have really large challenges, but we don't mind doing them. If we have to sit through thousands of pages of medical records and go through them, we do it and make our notes, and it is what it is, and we enjoy it. So I think that's also why we work well as a team. We kind of have a similar personality of being really thorough.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. And getting back to that question about who's your professional mentor, what does everyone else think? What do you think, Arleen? Do you have like a professional mentor, or it could be more than one person?
Right. I mean, I definitely had someone take an interest in me and take me under their wing. And I think the most important thing that he taught me was to just do the work yourself. He never did anything for me, right? He taught me that you have to do your own Westlaw research. You have to dive into the facts yourself. You have to dive into the medical records yourself. You really have to understand things yourself, or you're never going to succeed in this field, right? No one can understand things for you. You have to understand them for yourself. I think that's probably the greatest lesson that I learned.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I agree. Like, you really have to trial and error. I mean, of course, if you have a question, you come to somebody with more experience and they could help you, but you have to learn it for yourself. Nobody could. I wish you could just take all the knowledge and impart it to somebody, but it just doesn't work that way. You have to, that's why they call it the practice of law, because you practice. You be up in front of a jury and a judge, and you could be trying to get an exhibit in, and for whatever reason, the judge could be saying, objection sustained, you can't have that exhibit enter into evidence. So then you learn why, you learn the rules, and then next time you have the trial, now it's easy for you, right? Now it's like brushing your teeth. So there's a lot of things like that you could learn. Yeah. And for myself, I would say also, as a professional mentor, I didn't really have one person. I was at a firm. I learned a lot, in 3 years at that firm, from multiple people, including the partners, other associates. Then I started up my own firm. When I started up my own firm, it was just me and my dad, and I was the only attorney. It was like a solo practitioner. My dad was not an attorney. He was just helping me out. He was just helping me out. And then I hired one paralegal. And but now I'd say I'm trying to learn from everybody. I'm kind of learning from different sources. I like this group out called Trial by Human. I learn a lot from them. I've done some of the trial lawyers college workshops, and those guys are really, really helpful as well. So there's a lot of different, there's a place called Trial Guides, and they have a lot of books and videos where you could learn a lot. There's listservs of attorneys. There's a group called Justice HQ, where you have a Slack channel. There's a lot of different, resources, and there's so many different styles of being a trial lawyer. So I think the important thing is just to immerse yourself in it. And it's almost like a buffet, right? And you kind of like pick and choose what you like. Like this tactic might work for me, it might work for my personality. Something else that someone else might do just might not be a fit for me. So I skip over it. So, but definitely, I feel like at this point, because I've been a attorney since 1999. So I think at this point, about like 22 years, I'm still learning. I'm still practicing. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Well, I
Okay,
think you
and
have to be willing to learn in this field. I think things are constantly changing, laws are constantly
Yeah.
changing. And I think that that's probably the secret to, besides being, having the passion for it, I think that's probably the secret, really, really being able to learn, because everything's constantly changing in this field.
yeah,
I think that's really
yeah,
good.
that's true. Okay, and the third and final question for today. What's one lesson your job has taught you that you think everyone should learn at some point in their life? Who wants to go first? What do you guys think?
I'll go first. So I would say humility, humbleness, and that understanding that don't get too deep into paperwork and not see a person behind it, but understand that the person comes first. And another thing would truly to be understand that for so many people, they just woke up that day, they had no idea they will end up in a car accident, break something, lose an arm or something happens, they are permanently injured, and truly gives you have that gratitude for every day that you live for the health, and it helps you to sympathize with them better and to be a better paralegal attorney at what you do.
That's a really good point. I mean, I completely agree with you. For me, it's just feeling blessed to actually be helping people and doing something good, because, I always knew that I couldn't do something unless I truly believed in it with all my heart. And I just feel so fortunate that, I get to go to sleep at night and feel like I'm really helping people, and that, I'm getting justice. It's really indescribable. And I feel very blessed for that. I'm very fortunate for that.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
I can put all my, I have a lot of skills. I can put all of them to work, and I put my all into it because I really believe in what I'm doing, so that's probably the greatest lesson I've learned from my work.
Yeah, that's really
It's not
cool.
work. It doesn't feel like work because I love what I do.
Right. When you love what you do, it doesn't really feel like work. Like I was, I think before we were chatting and I was mentioning something like sometimes I wake up early, like at 6 a.m. like on a Saturday or Sunday, and then I'm reading a trial book or I'm listening. I put on my headphones and I'm listening to one of these trial guides, like books by Keith Mitnick or Nicholas Rowley or one of these trial lawyers. And then my kids and my wife will wake up at 9:30, and they'll be like, "What are you doing? Why aren't you sleeping? It's Sunday." I'm like, well, I've been up since 6, like the last 3 hours. I'm listening and taking notes, and because I just like it. I enjoy it. I enjoy all these like different ideas that they're putting out there, different techniques so you could improve yourself, and not just yourself, but you could help injury victims and their families, and then you make a difference. And then this entire philosophy that they kind of exude is the one of like civil justice, right? Because a lot of people, and I think it's really the insurance industry that started it, but a lot of people think of the lawsuit lottery, right? Jackpot justice, people being fakers or malingerers, or personal injury lawyers being greedy and going out there for themselves. And I think it's important to really change that. And we could change that together by working as a team and by truly caring about serious injury victims, doing a good job for them, getting them better results than the personal injury lawyer who's greedy and just out for his own pocket, right? And then it's like a rising tide lifts all ships, because we're helping other lawyers, we're helping injury victims, we're fighting back against this corporate insurance industry that's created this tort reform just to save money and to get seriously injured victims who are truly injured this kind of spell of that's some kind of a fraud going on, or people are greedy. That kind of thing might make somebody think twice. Somebody who is injured due to the negligence of another, right? Hit by a truck or whatever, they might think, you know what, maybe I won't bring a case because I don't want to be stuck in court for 10 years and I don't want to be seen as greedy as somebody who sues. But that's because of the spin that the insurance industry has put on it. So I think it's important for all of us to work against that whole thing and to view it as civil justice, because that's really what it is. And yeah, I'm proud to be a trial attorney.
That's great. Yeah, and I think for the people that are hesitant to bring cases in those circumstances, I don't think they should be. I think if you find the right lawyers with the right passion that are willing to fight for you and really have their best interests at heart, then they should absolutely go for what they deserve.
Yeah. It makes me think of this ad I used to see in the New York City subways. So I'm in the subway and there used to be this ad. I think it was something like, watch your feet, don't slip and fall. And the ad was this old lawyer sitting in a courtroom with a client, and the client was hurt. He had like a cast on his arm, and they had the desk of the courtroom was filled with paperwork up to here. And the ad said something like, do you really want to be here? Kind of like intimating, be careful, watch where you go, because if you fall, that's where you'll be. And the lawyer was like, he had like these horrible pants. He was wearing like sneakers. He was like really old and like just very sorry looking. And the client was all upset. And then it seemed like the judge or whatever was going against them and they were never going to get anything. Just a picture. But, so that makes me think of something, just an image from the past. But it doesn't have to be that way, right? If you are in any kind of accident or injury, you could seek civil justice, and it doesn't have to take long. We've had some cases we've settled in 4 months from the date of accident. It just depends on the type of treatment someone gets, the type of case, the value. That's why you really need a trusted advisor, an attorney who knows and could guide you, take your hand along this path of litigation, because that road of litigation could be filled with a lot of confusion and a lot of problems. But if you have that trusted advisor who's going to be like your guide, who's going to walk you down that road, well, then he's going to sidestep all the pitfalls and get you to justice at the end of the road. So that's important. Yeah,
and I actually really enjoy that as part of my job. I enjoy, I think like my tactic is no tactic. I treat people as if I would treat my mother, my grandmother, my aunt. I'm just honest with them. I tell them exactly what to expect. I tell them my true analysis of a case, and I tell them exactly what I would do in the circumstances. And at this point, thankfully, I know what I'm doing. There's a lot more to learn always, but I enjoy that part. I enjoy it. Really, I feel like I make people a lot more comfortable because they appreciate my sincerity, my honesty, and my knowledge. So.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's so important. It's so important to be honest with people and to spend the time and to get to know them as people. So like one of the things I like to do is to find out the person's biography a little bit, like their childhood, what motivates them, a little bit about their emotions, what's important to them, like who do they love in their life, what do they love to do, their hobbies, right? Because you have to know that, because if you step into a courtroom and you're representing a serious injury victim where the injury has changed their life, but then you don't know everything about their life, like their childhood, their family, their friends, like who they love, what they love, then you can't really be an advocate for them. So I really spend a lot of time. We do like these human stories, and sometimes not only of the client, but also even human stories of witnesses of the community. We get community witnesses, and then we do biographies for them, for the witnesses. So we get like friends, family. Sometimes we get people who are independent, like a postal worker or a coworker at the job, or like a dry cleaner, or somebody who's completely independent, who has no skin in the game, because that way at trial, one of these witnesses might only need to testify for like 3 to 5 minutes, which is very, very short, but it's so powerful because the jury is going to think, well, why would this person who's like, I don't know, dry cleaner, why would they come to court and lie? Like they have no motivation. They see thousands of patients, but they're saying that, hey, this client used to give me stock tips, and now he can't even count the change because he has a traumatic brain injury. So that dry cleaner could tell the difference of how this brain injury affected this plaintiff, right? He used to give stock tips, used to be like really on the ball, and now he has trouble counting the change. So things like that are invaluable. They're really, really good for lawyers too. But it takes a lot of work to get there, right? You have to do so much research. You have to make so many phone calls, and you can't take a lot of cases. You have to be very selective, and because if you take too many cases, then you're just overwhelmed, and you can't get into that kind of depth of work.
And I think that's what really separates this firm. We're willing to put in that work to get to know our clients, to be selective, and to do the hard work, right? To get the human story, to go through all the medical records, to get every single detail, right? So we really understand and know our clients. I think that's why this firm is different, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And we're just like, getting started. I mean, we've been doing it for a while, but we have so much more going on. I feel like we're starting because we were so busy, like in 2019 and beginning of 2020. I think I personally did like 7 or 8 jury trials just in that one year. And then we had this pause, and we had one trial in March of 2021. I think we were like the only lawyers in the entire courthouse. And then after that, some more pauses, more adjournments. And now finally, hopefully soon this spring, hopefully maybe this winter even, we have a few trials coming up, and we could start getting back into the courtroom. That's what we love to do. That's where we, I feel like a fish out of water being, in the office every day. I want to get back into the courtroom. It's so much fun.
But we're still putting in a lot of work, even though we're not, doing trials. I feel like we're doing everything we possibly can to make sure we're as prepared as could be when we finally get that trial date.
Yeah,
So
no, absolutely. Yeah, we're doing a lot of settlements, like a lot of serious ones. Like we just had a settlement in, I think, just a few weeks ago, at the end of 2021, a slip and fall, and we settled it for 1.7 million. And there was another car crash with a brain injury where it was $1 million policy, and we got the entire million tendered, $1 million for the pedestrian. And then I think just today there was another case, a tough case, where somebody was getting out of an accessoride, and he needed help, and the driver didn't help him, and he fell and fractured part of his body, and it settled for $500,000. So we're getting a lot of settlements and trials on the horizon as well.
And I think we're getting these settlements because we're doing the work. We're doing the hard work that a lot of attorneys don't want to do, right? They just settle it, like you said, for, to hurry up and fill their pockets. But we're putting the clients first. We're doing what we have to do to build up a case for trial, right? So I think that's, this is why we're getting the results that we've been getting.
Yeah, sometimes I have to tell a client, that they want to take a settlement. I have to tell them, no, don't take that, because I'm going to get you triple that amount.
And then they're so thankful that they listen to us, right?
Yeah, no, of course. How do you feel, Julie? Do you feel like you're getting enough work during the pandemic, or do you feel like you could handle more?
We do have plenty of work, and it's nice when, as per the injuries, we are able to settle, because with the trial, it's more work, and a lot of times when they understand as per the injuries, and they just, they make a reasonable offer.
Right, exactly. Okay, so I think that's good. It was nice talking to you guys. I think we went through all the issues, and anything else that you guys want to say? Any other burning, passionate thing you have to talk about?
I mean, just I'm ready for more cases. I'm ready for more serious injury cases, because this is what
I have a question for you. What kind of cases do you like the most? Do you like more like, say, car and truck accidents, or construction, or medical malpractice, or the premises, the slip and fall, the ceiling collapses, or something else? Like what kind of cases do you enjoy the most?
To be frank, I enjoy them all, because it kind of makes me a better attorney to be well-rounded, right? I learned something from all of these cases you just mentioned, all the type, like trip and fall, slip and fall, motor vehicle, truck, MVA, there's medical malpractice. I mean, they're all so different, and I enjoy all of them, because I just want to help people who've been hurt, right? So it just makes me a better attorney and makes me a better person to be able to handle all of these types of cases.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really good. Yeah, I think I enjoy them as well. I mean, sometimes I enjoy a certain type of case. Like I've been doing a lot of like ceiling collapse, premises type cases, but the construction accident cases I've handled under the labor law with the heights, with the gravity related falls, I really enjoyed. We've gotten some great results. I think we had one for 3 million and a few others. And then we had a trucking one in the Bronx for like a 2.5 million. I like that trucking case because you get to dive into that whole federal motor carrier and they have a code of federal regulations, and every part of law is almost like a different area of practice and a different area of expertise. So it's fun. You get to work with experts, sometimes engineers, sometimes doctors, like in a medical negligence case. So it's fun to work with experts as well. What about you, Julia? What kind of cases do you like?
I can't really say that there's a type of case I like better than others. It's good to have variety.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's good to have variety.
Yeah, that's true. Variety, yeah, keeps it interesting. Because like one day you could be talking to a weather expert about a snowstorm, and the next day talking about a doctor about a spinal fusion, and then the next day you're talking with a neuropsychologist that did testing for a brain injury. So it's very different. And you deal with like architecture, you deal with all different types of engineers, all different types of in fields. It's fun. It's fun. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining us today. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time at Trial Stories. And have a great day and have a great weekend. Okay, bye-bye, everyone.